this O-ring seals it from allowing any air to get into your system. So. It won't come up to this or this one, but what you can do, whenever you know you're going to clean, if there's stuff on these top two steps, you can just brush it off into the bottom, and then the cleaner will get it. It's doing its job. Pretty good. Got a nice clean path here. Might fill kind of fast, so we might have to empty it before it can continue. And then those are just extras, replacements. This is your pump. This is what will power everything. This is your filter, and then your heater, and that is your salt cell there. So the way that everything works, this is going to be your inlet side. These are your two skimmers. So you got skimmer there. You only have one skimmer.
There's two. There's two. Little round disc thing down there.
Yeah. Water will go down. There's a small hole in the bottom of your skimmer. It will draw the water in through these two pipes here. Then it pulls it into the pump. Anything that made it through from the pump basket, any kind of debris, will then be caught in this basket inside of the pump. It will pull water in with the propeller, send it up through here into your filter, which will then clean the water. Will filter any fine debris for you. Send it back down through this one. They've got it all topsy-turvy here. It looks kind of cool. Sorry. It's all right. So it'll send it back down through this one. After it filters, we'll send back this way in through your heater. Even if your heater's not on, it's going to send it through your heater. So it'll send it through your heater, then it'll come back out the other side through your salt cell and convert from salt into chlorine, and then it's going to return back to your pool through this pipe here, which is the jets. Most people call them jets. They're returns. It will return back into your pool through the jets. So does that make sense? You've got your inlet side, it's drawing water in, it's filtering your water, and then it's returning it back to the pool. Okay. Before it returns, it converts into chlorine.
Okay. One question. When this thing is like this, how do we turn off all the power before we open this? Or
yeah, so, and I'll teach you about that too. We're going to go over some of that. Let me set that down. And that's that first page. That's what I just went over. Okay. That's how the plumbing works. So to change or clean your basket, you're going to have to keep an eye on this. Usually like once a week or so, you'll have to come out here and empty it. Sometimes it doesn't get as dirty. You may not have to empty it. Like right now, you would be okay not to empty it right now, but since we're here.
I saw that big worm in there.
Oh yeah, that's gonna happen. Worms, frogs even sometimes. This here is called an O-ring. You always want to make sure that this is inside of the lid here. It sits snug right there. If that's not in there and you turn your pump on, you're gonna let air into the system. So this O-ring seals it from allowing any air to get into your system. If it does, like if you lose this and it's not there, sometimes you'll have air bubbles coming from your returns and stuff. So if you ever see air bubbles coming from your returns, check that O-ring, make sure it's there. So then you just take it out, tap, give it a little tap. Do you mind if I dump it here?
No, go ahead.
Okay, then you just dump it out. Make sure you get everything, or as much as you can. So that's good. And there's a little notch there. You look inside, a little slot and a little notch. Make sure that you fit that notch back into the slot.
Okay.
And that's when you've got it in there snug, it's in properly. We're just gonna put that lid back on. Make sure the lid is tight. And then you just hit the on button and you're good to go. That's how you clean it. And I'll teach you about how to use all that too.
Now, do I have to put water in here to purge it back up?
No. So if for some reason, whenever you start it, it draws the water in on its own. It'll always do that. But if for some reason it seems like it's not wanting to prime, prime is when it's completely full of water. That's when it's got a full head, that's primed.
Okay.
The pump itself will prime for 5 minutes at the highest speed setting available. Once it's fully primed, after that 5 minutes is done, it will convert back to whatever time for the setting is set. And I'll teach you about the settings and the times.
Okay, now what if there's like the other day I saw a big bubble at the top?
That means that there was a little bit of air in the system. A lot of times it'll just work itself out.
Okay.
If it's just a little bit, so let's go ahead and prime it up and I'll show you what I mean. So now it's drawing water in. There's an impeller in there.
What did you hit over there?
I'll teach you about it. I hit the start button. I'll go over here and teach you that in just a quick second. So now it's going to prime. It's going to pull water in. Moving. Now you know that water is being pulled in. It's pulling it directly from the pool. We'll prime it so you can hear it filling it back up. So now you can tell there's some air bubbles in there, but they're going to start to work their way out. And now, like, it looks like there's no water in there. The only reason that you can tell there's water in there is because the little debris that's left in there is moving around. But if there was nothing in that basket and you came out here and looked, it would almost look like there was no water in there. That's when you know you have a full head of water. It's completely primed. That's what it should look like. Sometimes when you lower the speed down, the pool isn't quite as strong, and that can cause a little air bubble in the top too. That's no reason for concern or anything. That's normal. I'm going to teach you how to set the settings on your pump. So you can't change any settings unless the pump is off. So always turn the pump off first. This is your on-off button, start, stop, same as on-off. So we're going to hit it off. When it's on, that light will be green and you'll be able to see it. So the way that you change everything, you're going to come out here and you're going to hit that number 1. Whatever setting that you're on, it's going to blink that little green light right there. So now we know we're on the speed. That's what we're changing right now. So we're going to change it by hitting the arrow up, arrow down. You want it to run at a little bit of a higher speed in the morning, so we're closer to 3,000 here. It's going to run. You press it one more time, it's coming on at 8 a.m. and you know that's time because it's blinking on time, on the time setting. Okay. You hit it one more time, now it's blinking on duration. That's how long it's going to run.
Make sure 3,000 at the speed?
Yep, it's running at, so the speed is 3,000.
Okay.
It's coming on at 8 a.m.
Okay.
And it's running for 2 hours.
Okay.
And these all work consecutively, so when one setting cuts off, the other one automatically cuts on. There is no like buffer time. They work consecutively.
Okay. What should it be like in the mornings?
That's good. I think that's a good setting right there, 3,000. And then the second speed is set at a lower speed, and that'll run for the big portion of the day. So usually about 8 hours. Okay. So, okay, they do have it running for 24 hours. So I'm gonna change it since we're out of the cold weather. I don't think we're gonna get back down into the 20s anytime soon. No. So I'm going to change this to run for about 8 hours. And it's going to run, and it has no time, right? Because it just works consecutively. You don't need a time for that second setting because it just automatically cuts on right after the first one. So it's running at 1650. I'm going to bump that up to probably about 1900. I think will be good.
So the first one will run, it start at 8 o'clock.
8 a.m.
Go for 2 hours. And then when that switches, it'll go into the second one.
It'll go into the second one.
That one will run for
8 hours.
8 hours.
At 1900 RPM. So that's a low speed. So when you come out here and you look at your pool, there may not be a whole lot of movement because it's a low speed. It's not moving very quickly. So you're going to have water returning. It just may not look like it. And then the third setting automatically turns on right after that second setting. So that second setting we're set at 2200 and it's zeroed out right now because they have these other two running for 24 hours. So if you have 24 hours, I mean, that can't, it won't let you set a time. But now that the other ones are changed, we're going to change it to run for 2 hours. And I'm going to change that speed to, I think 2300 is good. So that way, the reason I did that, the way that I set it to run like that is so that it runs for 2 hours at a high speed in the morning, gets everything clean, going, looking good. Then the duration of the day is run at a low speed because a lot of times most people are at work, you're not really here using it. That's just slowly filtering everything throughout the day while keeping your electricity bill at a lower cost. Then it'll run for a little bit higher in the evening to speed everything up, get everything nice and clean again before the next day. And that's what you can do. That's the settings that I recommend for the summertime. In the winter time, you're going to want to change it to run for 24 hours so that nothing freezes. So that's why it was set like that before. So do you understand how to change these settings then? So you just come out here, you turn the pump off. You can't change any settings while the pump is on. You just hit the number 1. It's blinking, so you know that's the one that you're on. Change the speed if you need to. Change the time, just click it again to change the settings over here of which you're on. So now you're on duration. So that's how that works. I'm going to show you how to change the time even though it's set, so that way if like your breaker trips or anything like that happens, power goes out, you know how to change the time. Okay, so the way you change the time is you hold this display button down for 3 seconds until it starts flashing 12 hour or 24 hours. So 24 hours military time. So I'm going to leave it for 12 hour. And then I'm going to click it one more time. It's flashing, so I'm going to change the time. That's how you change up and down. I'm going to leave it there because that's what time it is. Then it's going to blink screen. Just press it one more time and that locks it in. So that's how you change the time. You just hold it down for 3 seconds and then when it's blinking, you know you're ready to change it. This is the on-off button. The quick clean button speeds that pump up for 2 hours at the highest speed setting available. So it's good for when you're vacuuming and it's also good for when you have a lot of people in the pool. So if you're having like a party or something, you can come over here and hit that quick clean button. It's going to speed everything up, which then cleans the water very quickly so that it stays clean for the people in the pool. And then it also, whenever you're vacuuming, and I'll teach you how to vacuum here in just a minute, but whenever you're vacuuming, it speeds everything up so that the suction is very strong. So you want to hit that quick clean button whenever you're vacuuming too. Okay, I'm going to leave it off because it can be loud.
What's this right here?
It's just a power source, like you could plug something into it.
Well, we won't be doing that.
Make sure I don't forget anything. So that's that. That's how your pump works. Do you have any questions about that?
Like,
share,
subscribe.
click the bell please.